Our show is brought to you by Barreto Home Solutions, Bayou Audio and Video, Hot Works on the North Shore, JFK Martial Arts in Mandeville and Covington, Black Hawk Hauling, Lil Dizzy's Cafe, Wags Food and Culture, Moe's Pizza, The Green Law Firm, Personal Injury Attorney, Drums Earwear.
Hands up, hands up, hands up. If you winning and you don't give a fuck about a hater, tell them move. Clear my area, move. Clear my area, move. Clear my area, move. Clear my area. Cause I'm winning, I'm winning, I'm winning. 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 Hands up, hands up, hands up. If you winning and you don't give a fuck about a hater, tell them move. Clear my area, move. Clear my area, move. Clear my area, move. Clear my area. Cause I'm winning, I'm winning, I'm winning. I'm winning, I'm winning, I'm winning. I'm winning, I'm winning, I'm winning. I'm winning, I'm winning, I'm winning.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome to the Hash It Out Show. I am your host, JB, the sports guy. And what a weekend we had for the state of Louisiana when it comes to college baseball. 6 universities from this state are headed to the national championship tournament. That's Tulane, that's Nicholls State, that's LSU, that's Louisiana, that's Grambling, and also Louisiana Tech. We have two head coaches that's going to be on the show with us today. We have Tulane's Jay Uhlman, and we have Nicholls State's Mike Silva. But before we get into all that, I got to introduce my co-host, the one you can find on CrescentCitySports.com, the one, the only VK Jones. What's going on, VK?
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Like, tag, share, subscribe to the Hash It Out Show on all social media platforms and log on to the hashitoutshow.com. We are in the summer months officially and everything. And straight up, man, we are glad to be on this week and a huge weekend. I think this is maybe the most the state has ever had that's going to the NCAA tournament in college baseball. And
Tied. They tied.
they're tied. Okay, they're
Yeah,
tied.
tied.
What was the most they had? 7?
Six.
6. So
Yeah,
hey,
tied it.
at first
Happened twice.
right. At first it wasn't it didn't look promising near the second half of the season, but now a great finish for a lot of these teams, you know what I'm saying? Especially at least 4 out of the 6 teams that made this tournament. So it ain't just about how you start, it's how you finish. So
That's
we're
right.
gonna have a very good show tonight, and we'll still talk college baseball a little bit tomorrow as well.
Our good friend Jordan Taylor is here. What's up, Jordan Taylor from Under the Lights? Everybody that has not subscribed to Under the Lights on Facebook, make sure you do. I'll be seeing Jordan, I want to say week 3 in Opelousas. I'll be seeing him. VK,
Yes, sir.
let's get to LSU first. LSU didn't win the conference tournament, but they won 14 out of their last 20 SEC games. It looks like LSU is starting to peak at the right time.
Yes, they're really playing well. I mean, the second half of that conference season was going to be so key after a very very bad start, and that's one of the teams I'm mentioning out the 6 that had to have a strong second half, and LSU did that as they went 13-5, like 13-3 into the second half of the conference season, and then all of a sudden they go into the tournament and they went on a blaze and got all the way to the finals and gave it all they had, gave it all they got against the number one team overall in the tournament. So for the Tigers and for Jay Johnson, big props to him, and especially what he said after that championship game. He gave a lot of props to Tennessee, but he also said, I feel very good about my team now because I feel like we're the hottest team in America. And I think it's gonna say a lot for them going into the tournament. I knew some way, somehow, there was gonna be a two somewhere. And I'm thinking in the back of my head, it might be in Raleigh, it might be one of those other teams, but I was shocked when I seen LSU in the Chapel Hill region. And I'm like, oh my goodness. And you looking at it, if LSU some way, somehow comes out of the Chapel Hill region, guess what? Super Regionals is coming to Baton Rouge.
I need a little help. Need a little help.
Now you have to think they are the you look at what side they're looking. You have to look on and
You need
going to the
Arizona.
bracket.
You need Arizona to lose.
Which you look at it. Okay, you
And
do
if
need
Arizona
Arizona.
loses, then they get the host. If Arizona wins, then Jay Johnson's going to play his old club. Wouldn't
Well,
that be? Wouldn't that be great?
yeah, I think either way, you know what I'm saying. LSU do need help because if they survive and Arizona do, you're right. If Arizona does win, they will get the host. But at the same time, that would be awesome. And I think LSU would have a great chance against Arizona. Arizona's a really good team. They're very hot too. They're coming on a big time winning streak themselves. So that would be a hell of a series. But I think it won't be easy for Arizona. I tell you that. It is not going to be easy, especially when you have Dallas Baptist in your region. And
Right.
that is an experienced program. So I'm telling you, it's no cakewalks for either North Carolina or for Arizona.
Well, VK, you were at the Southland Conference tournament all week. You got to see Nicholls. What are your thoughts about the Nicholls Colonels as they get ready to head to the Corvallis region to take on Oregon State after winning their second straight conference tournament?
Unbelievable run by the Nicholls Colonels, especially in the second half of their season. They had a slow start themselves, but they had a great second half to the Southland season. And for them to come out there and play so well, especially early, but they knew they had to go through the grindstone against Southeast Louisiana twice,
Twice.
twice. And I tell you, they had to come up big, and you got to get some big time props to Mike Silva, but also Basil Williams. And I believe he might have been the MVP of this tournament. He hit a home run to tie the ball game against Southeastern the night before. They wound up going to extra innings where Nicholls wound up winning. And then the day after, he hits a double to tie the ball game up. And then in the bottom of the ninth, where hell could have broke loose for Nicholls, but somewhere somehow the defense and pitching kind of held tight. Basil Williams on the first pitch in the bottom of the ninth, gone, game over. And I mean, that was really big. And even Basil Williams said it himself. We haven't played our best ball yet. We that's the scary part about us. And look what happened in the championship. Everything came together, and for them to have a great and complete performance, including Farley, who pitched very well and wound up having a complete game for Nicholls to get the win for the Colonels. I think this is big for Thibodeau, back-to-back championships. As you know, not as the fact that I'm a member of the media, but an alumni of Nicholls. It is awesome for them to get that championship once again, and I think they got a great chance to do some damage up in Corvallis this weekend. I really think so because that is an experienced squad. I think they have a great chance. And Tulane, I wouldn't be surprised. They might meet each other in round two coming up on Saturday. I would not be
Which side of
surprised.
the bracket? Which side of the bracket? The winner side or the loser side?
Winner side more than anything.
Oh, okay, okay,
I'm gonna be bold and say the winner side
all right.
because this is both experienced squads that have been to the tournament last year. And the advantage Jay Uhlman has coached in the West Coast. So he knows about Oregon State. He knows
Yeah, you
about the
can't like
Pac
Oregon
12.
State, not one of the best or better baseball programs in the nation. They've
They
always
are,
been ranked. They've been number one in the nation before.
but here's the thing. You know how it is in college baseball. You can come in, you could be the best team in the nation, but you come and have a bad game, you get had, especially
And
against a team, that has been there. If it like I said, if it was a team that hasn't been there, like Oregon State can be all over the place. But Tulane, who has been to the tournament and has improved tremendously this season after what the job Jay Uhlman's done, especially a tough American conference. It's not no cakewalk conference for them to do what they did and to repeat as champion.
let's talk about Tulane for a second because there
Right.
were a lot of naysayers after what Tulane did last year in the tournament by going on a great run and winning the entire thing, and then this season come back. They have a above 500 record. They were the three seed in this tournament. People still doubted Tulane, didn't believe in them, and they go into the tournament and win again. And they're going to Corvallis also, like we just said. They're taking on Oregon State. Tulane should not be looked at lightly, and people should start believing in Tulane now because Jay Uhlman has done a great job in just 2 years.
I very much agree. That's
Look, hold on,
exactly
before we
so.
go, look at Jordan. They're carpooling there, close. Nicholls State and Tulane are on the same flight together. They are sharing a plane. Go ahead, VK.
And I think that's very, very smart. That's very smart for the two universities to come together more like almost like a family and feeling like, hey, we're going to the same place. We might be in different hotels, but let's go ahead and work together and get a flight and get
That's
up
saving
out of
money
here.
for both universities.
Saving
That's
money.
saving money.
Yeah.
I hope
That,
they talk trash to each other the whole way there. Say, yeah, I want to play y'all in the second round. I'm gonna eliminate you. I'm gonna bust your all that. I want that on the plane. Get that friendship stuff.
no. See. Here's the thing. Here's the thing.
Yeah, dang. Ain't no different.
No. See, you want war. That's the problem with you.
There's
You
one
want
goal
war.
in mind to get
No,
to the
here's
second
the thing.
round.
Here's the thing.
And I gotta
If
step on you to get
no
there.
no
Get
no no
there.
no. Now here's the thing. If you want war, wait till you go against each other. Then that's the words that come out. Don't do it early. Just hold on. Be humble. Knowing you've been there, get the win, support one another. And then when it come down to go against each other, you throw everything out the window. That's what real rivals do. They throw everything out the window when they get on the field. That's how it's supposed to go. But right now, it's a great experience, especially for both of these squads, especially what the work they have done these last couple years. How do it feel that both of these teams have made back-to-back
Back to back.
conference championships and going to the NCAA tournament? But then on top of that, they're in the same region. That's crazy. And they are not the only two Louisiana teams that
They're
wound up
not.
in the same region.
They're not.
Also, Louisiana Lafayette and Grambling are in the
Yes.
same region as well. They are
Yes.
going to the College Station Regional, where the number 3 team overall in the tournament that is waiting on them, and it's Texas A&M.
Woo! That ain't gonna be easy for either Grambling
No,
or Louisiana going to
not at
play A
all,
and M,
not at all.
man. That's woo. That's
Yeah,
rough.
it's gonna be very, very rough. You know what I'm saying? But Grambling State,
Hey, you gotta feel good for Brent
what
Grambling though. You gotta feel good for Grambling.
what a run for them, especially for Davin Pierre, the head
Yes.
coach. I mean, for them in a wild way to just get it done, and it's huge for them. But then I hate to say this, and I'm not trying to be picky on HBCU baseball. I'm not. But what I seen in the ninth inning for the finish was very unbaseball like. Very.
Explain.
How in the world you can make a routine throw to first? How? And I know you do it all game, but late in the game, you get ips and stuff. Not late in the game. You got to make a play there. And then at the ending of it, the pitcher in an awkward position. You can't get, and this is fundamentals. You got to get in front of that ball, catch a good, and the catch is off the plate. Get where you need to be, make the simple play at home, and you straight. When I seen the pitcher just was in an awkward position, I knew right then that that's trouble. That is trouble because you got to be in a better position than that to get the ball. Your catcher got to be in position there to try to make the out. If he slides in, okay, good. But right then and there, looking at that position that both the catcher and the pitcher was in for Jackson State, you just knew it was trouble. And right then and there, Grambling take advantage of it. Not just the fact
It's
that,
supposed to take advantage of it. You take advantage of any opportunities
thank
that
you.
are given to you.
That's what I'm saying. Because the fact that it ain't the fact that the catcher didn't get the tag, the ball got away. Like, oh my God. I
I mean,
was
didn't
like,
that happen?
wow.
That happened with Nicholls and Southeastern in game one.
That is true too. That is
Yeah.
true.
Mm-hmm.
That is true. And it was a close play. So you do what you got to do on that. But at the same time, the difference is it's like you see the obvious mistake on it. And sometimes you see it a lot more than a little bit sometimes in HBCUs. Sometimes HBCU baseball, they do a good job, good fundamentals, good techniques. Sometimes it's not all perfect because you're going to see a lot more ips than a little bit in games. Just saying, because you get that repetition all year long and everything else. You go against tough opponents early, then you get
Mm-hmm.
into your conference and everything. I guess late in the year, especially the long, and I'm gonna give the SWAC the benefit of the doubt. That was a long tournament that they had because that tournament started on a Wednesday and it ended on a Sunday. And there was a lot of games in between. So I think, and you look at Jackson State and Grambling, both teams were tied. They even had a controversial call in the ball game as well. So
Who
it,
didn't have a controversial call in a tournament this year? I mean, good God,
woo,
did LSU have one? Who didn't have one? Let's just go
oh
ahead and
my
say
God,
part of the game.
part of the game. I mean, sometimes
Look,
it'd be
look
the
at Jordan.
wrong time.
Hey, look at Jordan. Y'all ever seen anything like what happened at LSU South Carolina game before with the catcher ball? No.
Whoa.
Never.
The thing was, it was, and you look at it, it wasn't and they said it's in the rule book. Yeah, they were absolutely right on that. But what happened was, it wasn't just the fact that the umps kind of got it together. What happened was South Carolina's coach went out there and
Challenge it.
talked to them and said, "Hey, can y'all talk about this? Because there's a possibility of a vote." The thing I can say about South
Thought he
Carolina's coach,
challenged it. Thought he
he
challenged it.
challenged.
Yeah.
Now, actually, he asked the refs to check because they couldn't challenge the play. So he asked them to come together and to talk about this. They never challenged it. So the thing was, the refs talk about it, and all of a sudden they went into the rule book, and then come to find out that's what they made the call. So it was really South Carolina's coach that sparked the whole thing, not the umps. The umps just got together and tried to make the call. South Carolina's coach was concerned. They said, "Can you talk about this?" Because the guy kind of blocked the plate, moved, and it was so close of a play.
It's so
So
close to say that he
you know,
blocked that plate, man. That is like was like that to say he
and
blocked
and
that
I'm
plate.
and I'm
I'm
thinking
like,
and I'm thinking in the back of my head that South Carolina basically became copycats because they must have looked at the East Carolina game against Wichita State, how they had to steal third, go home to win the ball
squeeze
game.
play.
They must have
Squeeze
seen
play.
that squeeze, not really a squeeze play. He stole home. He stole home. So
Okay.
he tried to throw it and everything else. I'm thinking they must have seen that early and they want to try it. And they got caught. But after all that, Monster Milam, it's the home run, game over, good night. So, but it's crazy how things happen. And sometimes it's the timing of it. But, sometimes, and I give South Carolina coach credit. He was desperate. He was desperate because they had LSU dead and they was in trouble. So they just knew, hey, we got to find a way to slow it down. Didn't work. So, sorry.
Hey, I mean, what can you say, man?
Mhm.
What can you say? So, but there's one team we haven't talked about, and that is Louisiana Tech, who will be headed to the Arkansas region. What can you say about Louisiana Tech?
Well, Louisiana Tech has been very consistent, very good year for them and everything else. You know, I think they're a team that could have a chance to steal this region, possibly.
Hmm.
Arkansas is really, really good. They're a good team. They can pitch very, very well. The thing is, they're not scoring the ball like talking about in the second half of the season. So that could leave them a little bit vulnerable because first early in the conference season, like Arkansas looked at very unbeatable, very unbeatable. But then all of a sudden they started slipping up. So, Arkansas at home, they are very, very good. But at the same time, I think Louisiana Tech playing a tough competition they played. They had some big wins on their schedule. They even got a win against Nicholls. And I'll tell you, Nicholls, that's a good win for them. And a couple other wins for Louisiana Tech. I think that tough schedule is going to help them a lot. And, it's going to be interesting to see. But I think they got a chance to hopefully steal one in Arkansas. It ain't going to be easy, but I think they have a shot. I think out of Louisiana teams that's in the tournament, you look at. I think Nicholls and Tulane have a chance
Tell you what,
to pull off a shocker
I
and,
want you
and
to
go back.
hold that thought. Hold
Okay.
that thought. Hold that thought. Cause we got our first special guest
All
today.
right. Cool.
He's in the lobby. He's the head coach of the back-to-back athletic. Help me out, VK. AAC.
American
American Athletic. What did
Athletic
I? How did
Conference,
I? My God, guys,
and, 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 and
they're
you a
gonna
season.
revoke my Tulane season tickets, man. Man,
Oh
oh
my
my God,
God.
the American Athletic Conference back-to-back tournament champions. We have the head coach of the Tulane Green Wave, Coach Jay Uhlman. Coach, how you doing? Congratulations and thank you for joining us.
Good to see y'all again.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
It's great to have you back. Good to see you also. Tell us, Coach, how does it feel to win your second straight conference tournament championship?
It's outstanding, man. I mean, our guys played their butts off. They've been playing a high brand of baseball last month and a half, and last year was such a whirlwind out of nowhere, and this year we're much improved. A lot more room for improvement, but um, to be able to do it again in back-to-back seasons, it's some validation for a lot of naysayers, which totally get it. We won 15 games going into that, and so I totally understand that. But to be able to get back there and do it again, and then do it in convincing fashion, and four straight games without a loss, and to walk it off. Just really gratifying. Happy for our players and our families and our staff and our supporters and our alumni. Really, it's a fabulous deal, and just excited to get out to Corvallis and get back to the West Coast and uh, get after some folks out there.
I know that's right, Coach. Speaking of walking it off, you played Wichita State the championship, a
Yeah,
back and forth game, but Jackson Lynn, who was named most outstanding player, he had two homers in that game, three
yeah.
runs scored, and he hits the walk-off home run for you guys. Talk about Jackson Lynn and his play.
Yeah, I mean, what an incredible effort by him and a lot of guys. I mean, Clearwater's been good to a lot of guys and been good to us, obviously. But, Jackson's come back from last year was really tough on him physically. We didn't even know if he'd be able to play baseball ever again or even have use of his arm again and his hand. And, a lot of obstacles to overcome, and he had a tough year, but he bounced back this year, and just really really cool to see him have success on a stage that he wasn't even really involved with last year. As a freshman, he was a freshman All-American. He had a hell of a year, and to have him come back and win the tournament most outstanding player. And to be frank, we could have had 4 or 5 guys based on statistics and those kind of things win that award. But certainly Jackson, most deserving, and really happy for him because, like I told him before the tournament, I said, it's going to be really neat to watch you actually participate in the game this year instead of being a good teammate on the bench and not being healthy. So little did I know it was going to come to that, him being the outstanding player, but he certainly has the capabilities to do that, and he's been doing that, and he's had a really great year for us. So really excited about that for him.
What would you say is the difference between last year's team and
Yeah.
this year's team?
I think the level of talent that we have this year has improved immensely. We lost 6 of our best players to the portal and the coaching change the year before. And it's like we lost our catcher. We lost 2 weekend starters. We lost our center fielder. That's like losing a quarterback, a wide receiver 1, and a RB 1, and so when you have those kind of defections and, I wasn't okay with it. I wanted obviously them to come back, but I understood where they were, and the process took a little bit longer than they wanted, so they had to hop in. But so we lost those guys, and we were really doing it on for lack of better description, a shoestring budget in terms of enough really good enough players. You got to have depth, and we were good enough. I thought our position players were good enough. We had enough we had 2 starters and a couple relievers, but we didn't have enough. And so we went out. Our assistant coaches did a heck of a job out in the portal and the JUCO ranks, and got an infusion of older talent. And that we didn't play a single freshman all year. Not one freshman got an at bat, not an inning pitched. It was all done on the backs of our returners and guys out of the portal and JUCO. So, and to be honest with you, the really cool thing about the guys that we got in here, there's a different level of gratitude. When you're a freshman, you kind of been pampered and catered to through the travel ball world, and through high school, you've always been the best player. And all of a sudden, the work that's required at the Division I level is so far superior to anything they're used to. And this is all freshmen that come in. That sometimes they have a hard time in the transition. So when you have a bunch of older guys that have gratitude and understanding of, hey, I didn't get this opportunity at this other place, but now I'm here, and you're showing me love, and you're treating me well, and you're coaching me, and you're not ignoring me. I think when guys feel good about the environment that they're in and they have talent, I think that's a dangerous combination. So, I think it took us a little bit to kind of find our rhythm as a team during the regular season, because in the fall, everybody plays, right? Everybody pitches, you hit, 2 10-man lineups. So when mom and dad call, how'd you do today? Well, I had 4 at bats, I had 2 hits, like everybody's playing. But when you get to the season, you can only play 9 guys. So, that becomes not problematic, but you have to navigate a lot of different things, the egos and the feelings and the psyches and all those kind of things, and trying to figure out what guys fit in the roles. And, so it took a little bit for us, but, we caught our stride, midway through the season, and really got going. And so I think really the infusion of the talent's really been the difference.
You guys played in the 64 fielded team tournament last year.
Yep.
How did playing in the tournament last year has helped prepare you guys for it this year?
Yeah, great question. We didn't have success. We went 0-2 last year in the LSU regional. We happened to face some guy named Skeens, who happens to be in the big leagues now for the Pirates. We actually competed well. We got 2 runs. We had 7 hits. That was the most hits he'd given up all year. I thought we competed well for what we had and what we had left in the tank, and then lost to Sam Houston. But I think when the core group comes back, you have T.O. Banks and Scholes and Margette and Chandler Welch and Billy Price and a few other guys. When you have those guys have that experience, the thing that I see that's different this year is when we were in Clearwater, we had that same look in our eye, but there was kind of a different gratification after our wins. There was not that there was less excitement, but I think there was more like, we're not done. Like, we know we should be winning. And there's kind of a feeling like, yeah, we know how to do this. We keep this going. We want more. And I think when you're in those environments, I think it's helpful. We've had a good, I think we've played well on the road. We're going to go to a tough environment in Corvallis. I spent 10 years at the University of Oregon, so I know very well the type of environment we're running into, which is fantastic. It's what you, as a college athlete, it's what you want to play in front of, and what we want to get back at Turchin Stadium on a regular basis. And we have to continue to earn that. But it's an electric environment. And again, I think it's a great breeding ground and a practice ground for where we want to get back to, and that's Omaha. And so we're looking forward to the challenge of getting out there and doing that. But, it's going to help us. That experience we're tournament tested now. The older guys have been through it too. The returning guys have been through it. So I think all of those things all play into a factor. We're not a young team. We're an older team. We're a physical team. And so I'm excited to see. I'm excited to watch our guys compete out there this weekend.
VK Jones.
Coach Uhlman, man, appreciate you joining us tonight on the show. And first of all, congratulations, my man. I knew, but when we talked at the baseball banquet, I said that your team is going to be improved this year, and y'all went through a lot, but you got through it. First question I have for you: the second half, it seemed like the 6 teams that are in the tournament, slow starts in conference, then you turned up in the second half. What was in your minds? What was the turnaround when it started? And then on top of that, did you feel your team was starting to peak at the right time before conference tournament?
Well, first of all, thank you for having me. It's awesome to be on here with you guys. I really enjoy it. And it was great to see you at the baseball bash. I appreciated that. I think, we went on the road. We opened at Rice and won 2 out of 3, which was big. We hadn't won there. We hadn't beaten Rice in a series since 2005. It's been a long time. So, those things, when you get that accomplishment to start it off, it's great. And then we play UTSA at home, and really they kicked our butt, and that kind of brought us back to earth. We kind of stumbled for a little bit, got up out of the way of that, had a tough one at UAB, rebounded. And then we kind of got towards the end, and we had finals. And finals, Tulane's not that's a world-class education. So finals are a tough deal, And so we lost 2 out of 3 to Memphis. They played their butts off. I tip my hat, Coach Reiser, who's a former Tulane player in 2005. He's a tough competitor, a tough-minded guy. Had those guys ready to play, and they beat us. I make no excuse for that. They just beat us 2 out of 3. And then we turn around and we get walked off at UNO. We were going for the sweep there at UNO, and they walked. We were leading and got a little sloppy there at the end, and they walked us off. And so we'd lost 3 out of 4. And we had ECU coming to town, and our league has been bunched up all year. I hate to use this analogy, but there was talk that our league was drunk, meaning like everyone's 10 and 11 and 12 and 11, and everybody's bunched up except for ECU, and so everybody was still kind of like, we could be out this weekend, or we could, you could jump spaces up and down in one weekend. And so I just told them point blank, like, hey man, we're in playoff mode now. We got 2 weeks in playoff mode. Our backs are against the wall. Last year we were in playoff mode every damn weekend. We couldn't get out of our own way. And at this point, we had done okay comparatively. We got to that point, and I knew we're playing ECU as number 5 in the country, and they're coming in our park, and we played them tough. For the 5 years I've been here, we've played them really tough, and we should have swept them the year before at their place. We got 1 out of 3, but we really felt like we should have beat them. We beat them in the championship game, so there was familiarity. We felt good about the matchups, even though they had, a Trey Savage, who's going to be a top 10 pick in the draft. And so they responded to that, and we swept them at home, and then we turn around and go on the road to Charlotte and win 2 out of 3, 3 really tough games, back and forth, kind of like a good boxing match. And so I think that those last 2.5, 3 weeks of the season really prepped us for this run again, where the guys were really battle tested, and it kind of worked out in our favor, and we got really clutch performances. Our hitting really started to get contagious. Chandler Welch really solidified himself. Billy Price got in the mix on Sundays and we didn't have Sunday stability all year. We kind of had guys in and out of that role. And Luke Flotta had been tremendous for us all year. So we were starting to get some length out of our pitchers on the weekends, and it kind of just turned into what it was, and guys got confident, and they felt like they were going to win. They were going to win out, and that kind of confidence and belief is really powerful.
The tournament, the run was unbelievable. It seemed like not just the experience of your players, like the way y'all put, but the tournament the conference tournament last year to this year,
Yep.
the comparison, it seemed like the experience really kicked in the tournament
Yep.
because of how y'all spaced everything out, how y'all played it. But this year you took it to another level more
Yep.
than anything else. Run rule and saving your pitching.
Yep.
That was really, really huge for y'all. And y'all took advantage of the days off as well.
Yep.
What are your thoughts on this year's run? Do you think this year's run was much better and much smoother than last year?
Well, you nailed that entirely. I mean, it was much smoother because we had been there before. They had been there before, and so when you speak about the importance of winning game one to get a day off and winning game two to get a day off, and the way we did it, the Charlotte game, I mean, we scored double digit runs and all but one of the games, and the Charlotte game was they scored 3, got up on us 5-2. I think we trailed 2 innings all weekend. But when we trailed, we responded with numbers. Charlotte put up a 3, we put up a 3 to tie it, and then we scored on a 2-run homer by Colin Tuft in the 8th and went out in the 9th and shut them down and got the win there to get into the winners bracket after being beat twice. And then we got to Wichita on Sunday, and I knew it was going to be a battle because they had won. They were 8-2 in their last 10. We were 8-2 in their last 10. They were feeling good. They bounced back against ECU after ECU beat them. But the thing that was different was that they were running on fumes on pitching, and we weren't. We got some really good starts, and we didn't use a lot of pitching, just like you said. So we had the advantage there. But the other advantage that ended up being big, that at the time you didn't really think it was going to be that big of a deal, was Wichita lost the last game of the season against Memphis, which made them the 4 seed and put us in the 3 seed. And when you're the higher seed, you're the home team. Well, it just so turns out we get in the championship game, and that game came back to haunt them and help us because we were the higher seed, which meant we were the home team. And Jackson Lynn hit a 2-strike, 2-out homer in the bottom half, and they couldn't answer back. So that was a back and forth affair. A really dynamic, fun college baseball game. Nerve-wracking, but fun. And certainly when you win it like that, it makes it even more fun and more gratifying. But just an exciting game that ended up going our way. And here we are again, back-to-back champs, back in a second straight regional, and building this thing, continuing to build this thing, however long it takes, but doing it hopefully the right way.
Now, going into the regional, you're going to Corvallis and everything else.
Yep.
Your team experience plus your experience in the Pac-12 conference, how much it will help you going into the matchup against Oregon State?
Well, I mean, I coach. I've been there a bunch of times playing there, and so I'm familiar with it. Most of our guys are not. We've had a few West Coast guys maybe that have been in that environment, but it won't help them. It will help me kind of relay to them what they're going to be in for, like what the noise is going to be, and how intelligent their fans are, and how baseball savvy they are, and they know when to cheer. They know when to, they know when to do what they need to do. So it's a great crowd to play in front of. But in terms of helping, I mean, there's a reason why host teams typically get out of their regionals. It's because it's their home field. But last year was the exception. Last year there was a lot of host teams that didn't get out of their own regional, and that was kind of the first time in a long time that's happened. So you're going to have to win on the road. They're not like I said, when I first got the job, when people, why are you going on the road so much? Which I understand. I totally get that after the way we struggled in year one going on the road, but we don't play the national championship in our stadium. So we're going to have to go on the road, and until we've proven ourselves over the course of time and had some really quality seasons, it's going to be a minute until we're maybe in position to host a regional. So we're going to have to go on the road. We're going to have to win, and we're going to have to be road tough. And this year we have a winning record on the road, and that's very difficult to do in not only college baseball, but baseball in general. Pro ball teams, they have a tough time going on the road. So I do like, and I told the team today, I said, you can make an argument we play better on the road. So I don't know that it helps our players because I've coached in that environment. I don't know that it does, but I think our experience and we're battle tested, and I think that's the thing that's got a chance to be a weapon for us.
Well, you and Nicholls are going to be in the same region and
Yep.
everything.
Yep.
And what's funny that y'all two are actually going to be traveling together,
Yep.
going out to Corvallis. What it would be like if you guys pull off the big win against Oregon State, and for Nicholls to pull off the big win against Cal Irvine,
Yep.
and y'all two would meet in round 2 on Saturday.
Okay, I got a thing. It's not if, it's when. So that's my big thing. When we win, that'd be awesome. I really like Coach Silva a lot. Great dude, great coach. He's done an unbelievable job at a very difficult place to win. It's not really been done at this level there before. It's been a while, I should say. But tremendous respect for him. The first thing when I saw we were in the same bracket, I said to the staff, I said, they're going to put us on the same charter, because when I was at Oregon, one of the years, I don't know if it was 12 or 14 or 15, both us and Oregon State, Corvallis is about 45 minutes, 50 minutes away from Eugene. We both had to go east to play in a regional, and they put us on the same charter flight. They dropped them off first and then took us and dropped us off. So I told them, I said, this is going to happen. We're going to be on the same charter flight. They're 45 minutes away. They'll drive up to New Orleans. We'll meet. We'll fly out together. That's just going to happen. You're playing in the same regional. I don't understand it, to be honest with you. But I don't understand the committee and some of the things that they decide and do, and some of the politics that go on in that. But, part of me thinks that maybe they slated us 2 teams to go to Mississippi State if they hosted a regional, and then all of a sudden they went about face and awarded ECU that regional, and then they had to scramble to figure out where they're going to put everybody. That's kind of where I was at, my thinking. But again, I don't know. I have no inside information other than that. But it'll be a battle. The good news for us is we played Irvine, we've played Nicholls. The only team we haven't played is Oregon State, and so that helps in the scouting piece where we can really bear down on our first opponent, and we've got plenty of information on our other opponents.
You mentioned about the Mississippi State didn't host a. That was one of the main topics they talked about on the selection show, that why they didn't get to host a regional, and they're saying that was not a good move by the committee. So we understand that East Carolina's a very tough program.
Yeah, very much so.
But for
they're
them,
worthy.
Yes, absolutely. Last question, Coach, and I'm gonna let Jared close things out. 6 teams for the state of Louisiana, and you and Nicholls are not the only one in the same region.
Pretty cool, man.
Grambling and also ULL are in the same region in Texas A&M. What are your thoughts with the 6 teams out of Louisiana making the NCAA tournament this year?
I think it's awesome. I mean, we played Grambling, we played UL, we've played Nicholls. Obviously we played LSU last year, and it's exciting for the state, it's for the people of Louisiana who love their baseball. Very passionate fan base in the state. A little bit divisive maybe. The folks sit in a coffee shop or wherever they are, and they talk smack to each other. We having kind of that understanding. One of our goals, we played, I think 12 games in the state. We wanted to have a 700 winning percentage against the boot. We got close. We fell short a game of that goal, but it's awesome to have such quality competitive programs within driving distance, and Louisiana Tech's a little further up the road, and but I think all the coaches in our state, they do a tremendous job, and that's not just the Division I level either. It's the Loyolas of New Orleans, and our JUCO brethrens too, and I think LSU Shreveport, those guys do a tremendous job. So I think there's a lot of quality opportunities and options in our state for our in-state kids. So really happy for the programs for sure.
Just gotta love it, the way these teams, Louisiana is really popping in baseball.
Southern beat LSU.
Yeah.
Hey,
You know what I'm saying? I mean, come on.
it's a lot, man. You know, and it's
Yeah.
funny that Grambling and Louisiana Tech are literally around the corner,
Yeah.
and they're playing in the NCAA's. That is
Crazy.
amazing. But
Yeah,
I
it's kind of
wish,
like us. We're around the corner from Nicholls.
right, right. I wish I could make the trip up there with you guys.
Yeah.
Hash it out show trying to build budgets, but we ain't got that kind of budget to
Yeah.
go to
Me
Corvallis.
neither. Me neither.
Coach Jay Uhlman,
Yep.
thank you for joining us on the show again, and
Thank,
good luck to you and your team as you guys
thank you.
travel to Corvallis.
Yep. Appreciate y'all. Thanks so much for your time.
Definitely,
Appreciate it,
Coach.
Coach. Thank
Okay,
you.
guys.
That is Coach Jay Uhlman, the head coach of the Tulane Green Wave baseball team. And we're going to take a quick commercial break. And when we come back, we will have the head coach of the Nicholls State Colonels baseball team, the one and only Coach Mike Silva, right here on the Hash It Out Show.
Head boys basketball coach at Bonneville High, and you're watching the Hash It Out Show. Go Bruins!
And welcome back to the Hash It Out Show. I'm your host, JB the Sports Guy, joined by VK Jones. Our next guest, he is the head coach of the Nicholls State Colonels baseball team, and they also just won their second straight Southland Conference tournament. We have the one, the only Coach Mike Silva. Coach Silva, how you doing?
I'm doing
Congratulations
great.
on the good.
Yeah, thank you. I
Congratulations on the
appreciate
win.
you guys having me, man. I'm fired up to be here.
Yes, sir. Glad to have you back on the show. Coach, tell us about the feeling of once again winning the conference, the Southland Conference tournament championship.
Yeah, it's special, and to do it back to back years like that. And I caught the end of Jay right there, and he same thing. It's one thing to do it once, and sometimes you catch lightning in a bottle. I think to do it twice, it shows a lot of substance and resilience of your program. It also shows the growth, and then piggybacking off of that Saturday night. Just coming home and getting a chance to reflect late at night after everybody's gone and you're done celebrating and you're just sitting there. And I remember walking in the doors here 3 years ago, and this was the dream to get to this point. And then I remember Sunday night, kind of getting word that we were, where we were going or having an idea, and then knowing we were going to be a 3 seed. It's awesome. It's really special. It's humbling. It's exciting. I think it's great for the state of Louisiana. It's great for South Louisiana. And it's really proud and happy for our players, our community, and our program.
I want to talk about your team's toughness and the toughness of their mental attitude because the Southeastern games in the tournament was, to me, two instant classics. The way you won the first one, and then the way, I hope I'm saying his name right, Basil Williams, the home
Basil.
run,
Basil,
Thank you,
Basil Williams.
Basil Williams, the home run he hit to seal the second game. Talk about your team's toughness.
Yeah. Well, I think Basil epitomizes that toughness. If you knew his story from 3 years ago when I got here, I wouldn't say we butted heads, but I felt like he had some growing to do. I always believed he was a special talent and had greatness inside of him. And I articulated that to him multiple occasions, and felt like he ran from him at times and didn't he talked about it, but he wasn't doing the things that he needed to do to be the great player he was capable of being. And so to see him develop the way he has, that young man he's everything that's great about college athletics. He's everything that's great about being a college baseball coach. He couldn't have wrote a script any better. And more importantly, you can't find a young man any more deserving than him on the path that he went to. And you meet his mom and dad, and he didn't play a lot for me for 2 years, and never a text message, never a phone call, never an email, never I'm going to quit, never nothing. I'll show up and grow. And then last year, I thought he really hit his stride, and I thought, man, we might have something. We'll have him back next year. I think he's got a chance to be special, and the leadership he provides to our team. I don't know what that young man's got in store for his life, but he's going to do great things. Not a doubt in my mind. I can't wait to watch it. Hopefully not for a while. Hopefully we're playing him for a while.
Most definitely. What would you say, Coach, is the difference between last year's team and this year's team?
It was harder this year. It just was harder. The target was on our back from the get-go. We didn't sneak up on anybody. And then there was pressure. I'm not going to lie to you. There was pressure on me. I mean, there was to do it again. And, and for our young men to have that target, and that's the expectation now. Instead of that being just a celebration, had a great year, and it's awesome what you guys did. Now it's the expectation here, and expectations at times can be overwhelming, and pressure can be overwhelming, or you can look at it as a privilege that a lot's expected out of you because you're capable of it. And I think it took us a little while this season to get to this point. It took us a little while. It was a burden at times, and then it became an asset down the stretch. And I thought you saw that in those tight games on the road in the conference tournament, and then on the road in conference. We got off to a bad start at home, but we were 11-1 in conference on the road, and then if you count the tournament, we're 14-1 on the road, and that's incredible.
Very much so. Before I pass it on to VK Jones, last year your team made the '64 national tournament. National tournament. You guys are going back to it. How did playing in the tournament last year has helped you guys prepare for it this year?
Well, I just think that anytime you have that type of experience, you have older players and that maturity and the understanding of what we're getting into. I mean, obviously, we're going to a different venue out in Corvallis, different climate, different venue, maybe even a little bit different style of baseball. But we're still going to a hostile environment against really good teams. And so for us, they know what to expect. I mean, they understand that it's going to be a challenge. I think the preparation's been better. And I think that they feel like we're prepared to make a run in this thing. And so it's unique that we're going with Tulane. Really unique. I have a tremendous amount of respect for Jay and what he did. And honestly, I have a lot of pride in the state of Louisiana. This state has been unbelievable to myself and my family, and it's a special place to live. It's a privilege to be a head coach in this state, and it's awesome right now what's going on. And I like Jay. We talk on the phone. I text him every once in a while when we have a chance. I text him congratulations when they won it. I was fired up. The way they won that game and what he's been through there and what he's trying to build, man, like, your only time you're not pulling for them is when you're playing against them. And so just really happy for him and the young men that he has. He runs a first-class program. Those kids over there are first class. They're a pleasure to compete against because they're going to give you everything they want. And I'm excited for both of us. I'll be pulling for them when we're not playing. And, hopefully they play well. And I want to see them do well. I want to see us do well also.
VK.
Coach Silva, how are you, man? It's good to have you. First of all, congrats, sir. I had to put this on, man, because outside of me working in media, I am Nicholls alumni. So
and you look good in that red.
Yes,
you
sir.
Look good in that
yes,
red.
sir. Yes, sir. But first of all, it's good to have you on. But at the same
I
time,
appreciate it.
no problem. But I want to ask you this: what is a possibility that you guys get the win against Cal Irvine, and y'all guys have a lot of experienced team? You might wind up facing the Tulane Green Wave maybe in the second round on Saturday if that happens. What is your thoughts if y'all two would meet?
Oh, it'd be great. I think it'd be great for both programs. I think it'd be a tremendous competition. I think that his team will be ultra prepared, and I think we're familiar with each other. He'll tell you that we're very familiar with each other. I think there's a mutual respect there. I think he's a phenomenal baseball coach, and you go look at his career and where he's been and what he's done, and he's an accomplished coach, and he's succeeded everywhere he's been. And so it'd be a tremendous challenge. It'd be fun. I think it would be a great celebration of the state of Louisiana out west, and I think it would get some national attention, which I think would be great for both programs.
And it's crazy that y'all two are going to be actually traveling together to Corvallis. I think that is a very interesting experience that y'all two are going to be rolling together to Corvallis in itself. That's something very good, not just for you and Jay, but for the players. What are their thoughts about this experience?
Well, our players know a lot of their players. I think they have friendships with some of the guys in their teams. And like I said, there's a mutual respect. It's unique. It's challenge. It's weird. I'm not going to tell you it's not weird. Get on a plane with people that are going to compete in the same regional. But like I said, he runs a first-class program. Tulane's a first-class university with great people and great leadership. So I think it's going to be enjoyable out there. I think everybody's excited that we're both still playing. And I think it'll be fun. And then once we get there, I'm sure it'll get straight down to business. But it'll be good to see him and his team, and I'm happy for him. And look, I'm going to enjoy the flight out there. I'm going to celebrate our guys, and I'm going to give them time off when we get in tomorrow, and to just enjoy themselves and get off their feet and relax. And then we're going to wake up on Thursday morning and get to business.
Taking a look at the Southland tournament, I think that experience kicked in, not just in the second half of the season. It seemed like a lot of the Louisiana teams that's in the tournament had rough first halves of the conference, but turned it up in the second half and wound up coming up big in the tournament. It seemed like that experience in the tournament came up big. And I think maybe for the second time in the history of the Southland Conference tournament, a team comes in back to back, but not just that, going undefeated for 2 years.
Yeah. Look, I mean, did the experience come in? Yes, they expected to win. And I think that people talk about that. Like there was at no point did they expect to lose a game. And I think when you get in those games and you're coaching a team that hasn't been there before, they start hoping, right? Like hopefully get a bounce, or they get really tight and really tense. And I thought at times this year we were tight. I didn't think we were in the tournament particularly. And I think our guys stepped in and rose to the moment because they'd been there before. We played the longest game in Southland Conference tournament history last year in a 14-inning game on the road at the host site against McNeese at their ballpark. And do I think that helped us in those 2 games against Southeastern? Absolutely. You guys know it's just like in life. When
Yep.
you've done it before, you feel a little bit more comfortable in that environment. I know I did, and I think our kids did too.
Absolutely. And I mean, a big, you look at the advantages and everything else, and, especially, Lamar losing against McNeese, but at the same time, you guys did what y'all supposed to do. And I remember in the post game interview, you said after the ball game, especially against Southeastern, I'm like, man, that guys is tight, man. We play. I'm like, I love it when we winning, but we're a little tight. We gotta play a little looser. Seemed like the championship game, everything came together because even Basil Williams said, I think we have not played our best baseball yet. And I think that championship game, everything came out in the play.
Well, look, our players are tough-minded. They're also very mature, and we're brutally honest program. We're brutally honest with each other. I think that's the only way for growth. And I think the key to chemistry is love, right? When you love somebody, you tell them the truth. They don't have to hear it. It doesn't mean it's hugs and kisses here every day, because it's not. It's very demanding. But the players demand a lot out of me. I demand a lot out of them. And I think when you do that, it makes battle tested. The expectation here this year, there's no secret. If we wouldn't have won this thing, we would have considered it a disappointment. Now, rewind 3 years ago and think of how big the culture shift in our program is now. Young men come to this program to win championships, to play in regional tournaments, and to hopefully have the opportunity to play professional baseball. And that's exactly what we wanted to build. But like you said, you heard Basil say, we're a little tight. We got to relax. We haven't played our best baseball. That's veteran leadership. And if you think that he didn't articulate that to his teammates, which is way more powerful than me doing it, he articulated that to them. And he was calling guys out, and they responded. And that's what you want. And in the championship, I thought you saw when could do a 3-run homer to take the 2-run lead. You could feel it in the dugout at that moment. You could feel it shift, and it was like, okay, let's go, hammer down. Let's finish this thing. And then we really started playing well on all sides of the ball. And yeah, it's special when it gets going like that. And I feel like we're playing our best baseball at the most important time.
What you could say about the performance of your pitcher? I mean, he was unbelievable in that championship game, and I think there was one of your few guys left, Dylan Farley, who had a complete game more than anything else. You asked him to do a job, and he did it. He wasn't shook up or none of that. He did it. What you can say about his performance?
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't say enough about it. I mean, to step up in that moment on that stage, and we needed him to step up. And if you go look at the whole tournament, we had different arms step up, different pitchers step up. Even when things started to go sideways, you go look at the game on the walk-off that Basil hit in game 3 of the tournament. We were spiraling out of control, right? And we were giving the game away. We were screwing the game up. And it wasn't because the guys didn't want it, but for them to be mature enough and take a deep breath and go out and execute and give us a chance for a visit to the mound. The players said, just relax, give us a chance. Get this guy out. We're going to win the game in the bottom half. And that was the mindset. It wasn't like, hey, I hope you get this guy out, or hey, throw a strike. It was, hey, punch this guy out. We're going to win this thing in the bottom half. And when you get that type of confidence from your teammates, man, that's powerful stuff. It's very powerful stuff.
Well, people players like what you can say about players like not just Basil Williams, Edgar Alvarez, Gerardo Villarreal, Garrett Felix, and Norvin Booker, Drake Anderson. How the Parker could do? How these players have been a part of this change up in the Bayou, up in Nicholls.
Look, I'm not going to single any of them out. I'm going to collectively tell you that these young men have bought in. They deserve all the flowers or credit or whatever you want to call it right now that they're getting. And it's a player's game. It is. And I know I get the credit for it, and I'm fortunate enough to lead this ship for a while. But it's about players. Players make great coaches. Great coaches don't make great players. And I think one of the things that we try to do here is turn it over to them as soon as possible. And for the last month of the season, I'll be honest with you, I've stayed out of the way. I feel like I did my job. I feel like my staff did a job. And I just told them, I trust you. It's not going to be perfect, right? But I trust you. Go do what you do at a really high level, and things are going to work out just fine.
I gotta ask you this, man. I tell you, it's amazing with yourself, with Jay Johnson, Jay Uhlman. You're from the East Coast.
I am.
Jay Uhlman's from the West Coast. And also Jay Johnson's from the West Coast. How it's been for y'all guys to come down here to the state of Louisiana and not just turn around your programs, make the adjustment here to make Louisiana your home, but not just that, to discover more what Louisiana baseball is about and how you embrace the culture of the state.
Well, I love the culture. I love the people of Louisiana. I love the people of Thibodaux, Lafourche Parish. I love South. I love New Orleans. I think New Orleans is a mixed bag. Some people love it or hate it. I love it. It's Louisiana is unlike anywhere else. It's a unique state. It's a special state. It's got special people. It's a melting pot of people, and it's wonderful. And if you embrace it and you embrace the people and their culture, they're going to embrace you back, and they're going to do anything for you. And to say I love the people of Louisiana is an understatement. And how I'm in debt to these folks forever for how they've embraced me and taken me in. Everybody from the media to our community here, to our administration, and not just myself, my family and our players. Look, this place isn't for everybody. The state of Louisiana is not for everybody. It's for me. I love this place. I love these people. And I wake up with a tremendous amount of pride that I get to call this home.
Man, that's awesome, man. You know what I'm saying? We're both from the West Bank of New Orleans in itself. You know what I'm saying? I always will love my state. I left the state for a while and I came back and I came to Nicholls to try to finish up my education. And I appreciate everything that Nicholls has done for me. So, trust me, I love this state and I love anybody that comes from outside that embraces this place. I love it when people come here and embrace what we built here, like what our ancestors built on the backs of the state. So I really appreciate what you said about
Well, let
that.
me ask you something.
Yes, sir.
People that don't like Louisiana or aren't in love with it, they don't embrace it. They don't understand it. They don't want, you ain't coming and changing Louisiana, but you can come be a part of it and you can enjoy it and you can love it. And if you do that, man, there's no place like it. None.
That's absolutely right there. Facts right there. We're gonna ask you one more question and JB's gonna close it out. Your thoughts, 6 teams making the NCAA tournament, and 5 of the teams you played this year, coach. So what you can say about 6 teams out of this state making the field, and you and Tulane not the only ones playing in one region. You got Grambling and also UL Lafayette playing in the Texas A&M region.
Well, I remember playing Grambling at home, and we swept them early this year. I remember telling Coach Pierre how good of a team I thought he had. They didn't play particularly well that weekend. I thought they were really good and really talented. I think he's done a fantastic job. So hats off to him. And then Tulane and us had some battles this year, and then Tech and us had some battles, and we were unfortunate to be on the other side of it. Obviously, LSU's LSU. I thought they were a national title type of team that just wasn't playing good. And I know fans and everybody gets impatient. We had stretches this year where we played really poorly. This is a really hard game, as you guys know. And it's a really long season, and it's very intense. And so to see 6 teams from the state of Louisiana playing in regionals, yeah, I think anybody'd be lying to you if they didn't say we're all kind of glowing a little bit with the amount of pride, because the country gets to see what we know, that baseball's big time in the boot, and I think they're going to see it on the national stage here this week.
Wow.
Yes, indeed. I totally agree with you, Coach. Coach Mike Silva, thank you for joining us. And good luck to you and your team as you guys head to Corvallis, Oregon.
Appreciate it, guys. I always love chatting with you. Appreciate you for having me. Talk to you soon.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Appreciate
sir.
it, Coach. Thank you. Go Colonels.
Coach Mike Silva, head coach of the Nicholls State Colonels baseball team. All right, VK. We've had Jay Uhlman. We've had Coach Mike Silva. What are the chances of one of those teams coming out of the Corvallis region?
It's gonna be tough,
It's gonna be
but I
very
think
tough.
it's gonna be very tough because Oregon State is not a pushover at all at home. But I think the experience of Tulane and Nicholls, they have a great chance of coming out and shocking Oregon State out that region.
Coach
Oregon.
Sean Dumas, thank you. Thank you, Coach Sean Dumas. Coach Sean Dumas is telling us good show VK on Instagram. The head coach of the McDonald 35 Ron Eagles basketball teams. Go ahead, VK.
You're coming on the show next, Sean. So be
He
ready.
coming for sure. He coming for sure.
Be ready. I think he's gonna have to be on Legends Month pretty much. You know what I'm saying? Because he's 3-time state champion. So, and he used to play basketball and football for St. Augustine.
Mm-hmm.
So I think he's going to have to be on that Legends Month list. But pretty much, I really think that both teams have a great chance. Oregon State, hell of a program, and there's no knocking what they do. They're still a strong program, but if it wasn't an inexperienced team, and I tell you, if Tulane and Nicholls don't make it out there, I think Cal Irvine has a chance to shock them. Because here's the thing about that: Oregon State is tough, but their region is tough. You got experienced programs and teams. It's different when you have a region when you have not too much experience. Like Texas A&M, their region more than anything else might be the easiest possibly. No, we're not gonna knock UL. UL is not gonna underestimate them guys. UL's a good team. Be very consistent. I might surprise maybe, but and I hope Grambling, and I'm begging Grambling, please give these people a fight, please. That's all I'm saying with that. But like I said, it's a tough region with Oregon State, and I think the region with North Carolina with LSU in it, that's a tough region.
I think LSU got a favorable draw. I really do.
I,
I think they got a
I,
favorable draw. I
I
think they can go over there and win that region
they
and
should
win a few regional. I think they
they
got a good shot.
they should have a chance to win it. I'm not gonna say it's a favorable draw, but I'm not gonna say it's a cakewalk because the fact of the matter is North Carolina is good. That is a good program. LSU and North Carolina, in my opinion,
Would
has
you
been
would you
has
rely on a true freshman pitcher like North Carolina is going to be using this weekend? As one of the aces, a true freshman.
a LSU has inexperienced themselves and they wound up going on a run. North Carolina, like I said, North Carolina has used younger freshmen and players before. There are like to me, looking at baseball the majority of my life, what I have seen in the last 2 decades, maybe two of the most consistent baseball programs in America has been the LSU Fighting Tigers and the North Carolina Tar Heels. Just being honest. And,
Carolina baseball consistently
look at
the past 2 decades.
look at how many trips they have made the College World Series. They have made a lot of trips,
They won.
and they have been and they now I think that's the
No,
one thing they have not done. They've
they
been
win.
to the championship, but they have came up short. But they have been a program that has been in there. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna say this. They're like Florida State, but they're a little better than Florida State because they at least got to the title game. Florida State has not been close to get. They've been in the junior college. They've been in the College World Series, but Florida State has not cracked the championship game. That was the only thing
Our
with
good
that
friend,
program.
our good friend Devin says 6 teams from the SEC will get to Omaha. He says LSU will also win the Chapel Hill Regional, and they're going to host Dallas Baptist in the Supers.
Everybody's rooting for Dallas Baptist. I tell you,
They
man.
won both baseball in
They want more
the
base,
box.
but not just that. Not just that. You have to think they're not in the box from the jump, and this is the greatest chance for LSU to get there. You know what I'm saying? To get at least a chance to be at home for super regionals, and a lot of people gonna be rooting their behind off for teams outside of Arizona. But even if Arizona wins, I would love to see LSU Arizona. I would love to
You
see
want to
that.
see Jay Johnson go back to his old squad?
Yeah, it would be great, and it's a very good, nice size stadium in Arizona, and and for them to play in their last year in the conference, for them to win the Pac-12 for the last year of that conference, it's amazing in itself. But I tell you, LSU has a great chance. It ain't gonna be no cakewalk against North Carolina, I tell you that. But it's definitely gonna be those two battling out to get out that region. Now I think LSU has a great chance of winning that region right then and there. I really thought the easier I say is favorable. I thought the easier route. I thought they were going to place them in Raleigh. They would have placed them in Raleigh. Oh, that's a lock.
Against
That is
who?
a big lock.
Against who?
NC State. That is a lock and a half. Like NC State has been coming up as a good baseball program, but NC State wasn't. They're not ready for no LSU. They'd have been blasted out of the sky.
Man, look, you have to remember this. the target is on LSU's back.
Agree.
You got to remember that. So everybody
Agree.
gonna try to beat the defending national champions just to
And
say, "Hey, we knocked them off the throne."
hey, and I'm like
They
this.
they gonna get everybody best shot.
That's what I said. That's why I said it's not going to be easy against UNC. I'm shocked that they placed them there. You know what I'm saying? But I think they have a great chance of getting out of it. But I think UNC, they not no punk. LSU fans, please go look at UNC's baseball history. They have hosted plenty of regionals and super regionals and came out of it. They have various trips to the college World Series. They are a good program. So it's not a cakewalk, but I think LSU has a great chance, especially how they've been playing, to come out of there. And I think it's going to be an interesting tournament all throughout. I wish I could say Southern Miss has a chance against Tennessee. I wish, because Southern Miss is a good team, and don't get me wrong, the coach from Tennessee has done a great job turning around that program. I kind of don't like how they are so brash like they are, but I think Tennessee has been just so consistent all year long. I wouldn't be surprised they'll make it to Omaha, but it ain't gonna be no easy task. But I think they will make it, and it depends on who come out of it. I'm like this: if they make it somewhere and they go against the Greenville regional winner, and the thing about that, if East Carolina does not come out there, I'm like this. I'm like this. If Tennessee faces Wake Forest, that could be interesting.
Hmm.
That could be interesting because Wake Forest, remember, they was this close to getting to the championship game,
Yes, they
and
were.
they still got a good program under Tom Walter, and I think you still have a little bit of pitching left. So that could be key if they face Tennessee in the regional. So but I wouldn't be surprised East Carolina might come out there. But we will see because it depends on matchup. But baseball is the one sport that, like I said, you can come on and have a bad game. You know what I'm saying? A bad game
Yeah,
or
you
another
have.
team coming in hot and not remember Stony Brook came to Tigers, came to Alex Box
Well, that went
and
that
shut
went
it
three
down.
games. That went 3 games though. That was a good Stony Brook team. You can't take that away from that team. They were just better than LSU. They
They
were
were
just
better than
better.
they were.
They were
They
just
were.
better.
But
And
but but
and
but
the
at
thing
the
is, the LSU fans even recognized that team as better because they stood up and gave them a round of applause when the game was over for Stony Brook. They gave them the respect that they deserved. They were
but
just a better team.
I know, but at the same time, nobody thought Stony Brook was gonna come in there and win that. Nobody heard of a Stony Brook
Except
until
Stony
that
Brook.
weekend.
Stony
Until
Brook
that,
thought so.
see, that's what I'm saying. Nobody heard of a Stony Brook. Now the Coastal Carolina, that's different. Coastal Carolina been knocking on that door for a long time. And when they got through, my words were, I think they're gonna win it all. And they did.
All right, here we go. Couple things from Devin. Also, he thinks South Carolina wins the Raleigh Regional.
Mm.
He feels good with Holman on the mound for Saturday night against UNC. His question is: does the curse of overall number one seed not winning the Natty continue? Who's number one seed? Tennessee?
Tennessee's the overall number one.
They ain't winning.
Yeah, you're right.
They ain't
It,
winning.
it just
Um,
depends on the matchup. But I
they ain't
think
winning.
I think it just depends on what happens. Because I'm like this. If they come out the regional and super regional and have good performances, that might break. They might have a chance to break the string because Tennessee, not just the fact that they've been consistent all year long, they got good hitting and good pitching. So that's
They'll
a
get to
deadly
the
combination. But
they'll get to the World Series, but I don't think they're gonna win. I don't. I don't.
because you always got a hot team. You always got a hot team that's gonna come out there and handle business more than anything else. And I think looking at some of these regional hosts and some of the, I know one team. You know what I'm saying? I don't mean I don't want to be going with a lock on this, but I'm gonna put maybe a little bit of a not a guarantee, but a kind of a
Oh, I gotta hear this.
bold prediction.
I want to hear this.
Duke is coming out of the Norman Regional. Duke is coming out the Norman Regional. Duke has too much experience from last season that made a huge run to the Super Regionals last year.
Is
And the,
experience your favorite word?
it is. It means a lot because you have to think when you go against young teams and everything else, you have to look at history too. Oklahoma has not been in the tournament in a long time. So that says a lot. Like with NBA this year, like we talked about the matchups. This was one of the first times I said experience is not going to matter this year because there's some experienced
How you
teams
say that?
that
Boston's experience, right?
no, that was the only experienced team. A lot of
Oh,
the
oh,
other
oh,
teams.
so Luca and Dallas don't have
No, no, no,
experience?
no, no, no,
They've
no,
been in
no,
the
no,
conference
no, no, no,
finals.
no, no. Here's thing. Dallas has been there too. I'm not knocking them. I'm talking about how the earlier playoffs were. Like a lot of like you was talking about Oklahoma City and Minnesota and all that, and I was like, those teams are gonna rise up some way somehow because these other teams that were like below 5 seed on was like, there's no killer instinct. If a veteran team don't have killer instinct, that's trouble. That means okay, you can't put a team away. So that means a young team gonna take advantage of you every time. You could be a young team, you could be freshman, some of that. But the thing about baseball, that's the one sport in college that an underdog can win a national title. So that's why a lot of these games and everything is not guaranteed.
What about college basketball? We see underdogs get to the national championship. We see
Well,
them get
we
to the
well,
to the semifinals. What you
but they
talking about?
haven't won it. They haven't won it. They get there. They get there. We have seen underdog stories. I'm like in college basketball, and thank God for this. We have seen that for the last at least 10 years, maybe 10, close to 15 years, that we have seen a lot of parity in college basketball. We have finally seen a lot of parity, as in teams making it deep in the tournament, but going beyond Final Fours, national championship games, but haven't cracked the code. The only team that could say that it was like an underdog and cracked the code was Baylor. You know what I'm saying? That is like the closest thing
Huh?
to
Baylor in what?
yes,
In basketball?
yes.
In a power conference? No,
No, but you had to regard,
no.
but no, but not the fact they're in a power conference. You have to look at the history. Baylor men's basketball has not been to a Final Four,
Okay,
and they cracked the code,
that's
and not just
fine.
cracked it, they've
That's
won it.
fine. That's
But
fine.
but,
But
but
we're
no,
talking
but
about
no, but
underdog. About a Butler. We're talking about Wichita State,
but
Dayton. That's what we're
but
talking about. We
but
ain't talking
but
about no Baylor, the Big
but
12.
no, no. But that's a part of an underdog too from big conferences as well. You have to think. We talking about teams that was in
George Mason, Florida Gulf Coast. Thank you, Devin. Go ahead.
right, but I'm saying like the bigger conferences. You have to think about this. Like teams like Baylor making it and winning the national. You have to think about their history. That's an underdog too, because you think about it. Teams like that was in the depths of hell. You have to think about it. Baylor basketball at one point was in the depths of hell.
So
You,
Sky Drew
you
got him out, right? Sky Drew got him out.
yes. You have to think about this. Remember the Patrick Dennehy case. Remember that? You ever
I
seen the
remember.
documentary about that?
Yeah.
Ooh, Baylor was in all kind of hell. Dave Bliss and all that stuff that happened. You thought that thing with what was the football coach from Baylor? All that stuff that happened over there. I know that
Oh,
was a bad scandal in itself, and he shouldn't have fell alone. But at the
oh,
same time,
his name.
oh, you forgot his name too?
I think of his name because his son's still coaching.
Oh, Browse, Art Browse.
Yep, there it
You
is.
thought you thought the Art Browse thing was something else, which I think he shouldn't have fell alone because that's a shame that he's the one that took all the brunt instead of everybody else. But regardless of that, that was nothing comparing to the Patrick Dennehy case. Oh my God. Baylor
Devin,
was in
Devin said
holy
Tweety
hell.
Tweety Carter. Tweety Carter.
Tweety and I still say to this day. Now I'm gonna say this: that other team, that team with Tweety Carter, they should have got to the Final Four. And to this day,
Oh,
I still say
oh,
that loss to Duke was a freaking fluke.
it
To
wasn't a
this
fluke.
day,
It wasn't a
was
fluke.
a
I'm
fluke.
gonna tell you why it wasn't a
It was
fluke.
a
I'm
fluke.
gonna tell you why it wasn't a fluke. You know
It was-
why it wasn't a fluke? Because somebody I know went watch the practice the day before, and he said Baylor came out there just. He said they didn't run a play or nothing. They just came out there shooting threes, slam dunk exhibition. He said Duke came out. It was business meeting, a business meeting. They practice this. What Baylor does this. What they gonna do? Da da da. That was not a fluke. When
No,
I was told that, I was like, Baylor did what? No, he said, telling you, this is what Baylor did at practice, and this is what Duke did. That's not a fluke, and that's why
I,
the score was so big.
no, I say it was a fluke because the
And
reason why.
I'm telling you, it's not a fluke.
No, you're saying that because of the fact that you had a source that told you what happened at practice.
I'm telling you what the source said. Yes,
I'm not going along with what's at practice. I've been seeing what I've seen all year comparing the teams. Baylor is way better than Duke, knowing athletically and physical that they are.
they
That
practice nothing for Duke. That's what I'm saying.
because of the fact of the matter is that they can dominate. And what happened was, anytime you let Duke apply pressure and and that's the credit I do give Duke. They dictated to Baylor what they're gonna do, and I'm gonna give them that because nowhere in the world you're supposed to let these people punk you from the jump, knowing you're the aggressor. You can shoot the ball, you can dunk it.
So
I
let
didn't,
me ask
that's what
you
just
a
what it
question
is.
right now. What's Ponzatoula coach? Coach Thomas, right?
Right.
Coach Thomas. So you gonna sit there and tell me after Coach Thomas won the semifinal game and had to play who was it? Was it Washington in the championship?
No, no. Was it no,
Somebody from up north.
Nagany Central?
Nacogdoches Central. Okay, so Coach Thomas watching film, right? You don't think Coach Thomas and them worked on stopping this when they do this and that? You don't think they did that?
I think they did that. I think
Okay, so why do you?
I'm
Okay, since you think they did that, why do you think since Baylor didn't do it, that Baylor was still supposed to win and it's a fluke?
now here's the thing I'm gonna say about this. I understand what you're coming from, that maybe they could have prepped better defensively and everything else for Duke. Maybe they could have prepped better. I'm gonna say that. I'm gonna give you that. I still call it a fluke because I looked at Baylor and Duke all year. And I said this about Baylor. And I looked at the matchup. I said it's a bad matchup for Duke because if you do if it was if it's Aki and you do what they got to do on the inside, no way in them Sheldon Williams and one of the Plumleys would do what they do in that game. If they do what they're supposed to do, you don't and Aki, if they do what they do, they kill them because they're more physical and bigger. But
Uh,
guess what? Sheldon Williams and them, they held the charge from the jump and they kept rebounding and everything else. And that was just unbelievable. Like, what happened? Because the scary part about Baylor was we knew who the best players was. Tweety was starting to score. And when I seen that, it's like, no way Duke beats him. No way.
Let me ask you this. Let me ask you this. Number one, Devin says, "Are you rocking a Derrick Rose Bulls jersey?" No, he's not.
It's actually a
Jason Kidd
throwback.
jersey.
Jason Kidd, shout out to Jason Kidd if they get it done. He has done an unbelievable job so far coaching, especially his second stint of coaching. One game away, and I know they're in the ball game right now.
Tied up
And
49-49 halftime.
okay,
All right. My second question. My second
yes,
question. How many athletic teams did Coach K have? How many? Think about it.
he has had not too many, and I think his.
Okay, there we go. Hold on,
I-
hold on, hold on,
Go ahead,
hold on, hold on. Let me finish.
go ahead, finish,
Let me-
finish. Go
All
ahead.
right, good answer. Good answer. He hasn't had a lot. He's had a couple. I say his most athletic team was with Zion and R.J. Barrett and what's Cameron's last name? Can't think of his name. That was an athletic team. But I'm going to say this. All right, because you're saying it's a fluke. But Coach K, with the type of players he had, a lot of teams weren't as athletic as a lot of teams, but they were great. How can you sit back and say that Baylor can we're gonna blow Duke out the water with Coach K as a coach?
Because of the fact of the matter is, I thought Baylor was a better team. It was a better all around team. I looked at a couple losses
Reddish.
Duke had. And then on top of that, Carolina punked these people. So it shows a lot. Like, dude, Baylor has the inside players, and they have an experienced point guard who is finally starting to get his peak. We ain't see the scoring since we ain't hardly see that at Baylor. He started to look like the Tweety Carter at Reserve Christian. That says a lot. It's like, bruh, he's starting to score, and we already got these forwards and guards. Duke ain't about to beat these people. And I was wrong. You know what it remind me of? It kind of remind me a little bit of the Duke UNLV part 2. How Duke stepped up and knocked off UNLV. And basically, Duke played the perfect game and knocked them off. And that's it. And that's what it was there. And it's and then you think Duke's most athletic team, like the Zion Williamson team was straight, but no, his most athletic team
Who?
was the Elton Brand team that they lost to UConn.
Uh,
That
I
was
I I
I'm,
won't say I won't say no.
not that one.
I'll disagree with you.
Not that one. Not that one. That was a good athletic team. No, the most athletic team. I'm gonna tell you that the William Avery team that they lost to Kentucky. That team was maybe the most athletic Duke team I've ever seen, and it was amazing how Kentucky came back in that game,
What year is
down
this?
18 and won that ball game.
What year was that?
99. The comeback revenge. Scott
That was
Padgett. You don't remember
Scott,
Scott
Scott
Padgett with
Padgett
that
from
three?
Kentucky. Yeah, I remember Scott Padgett.
Yes. I called that the redemption after what Christian Laettner did. Some people forget about that game. Some people forget about that 99 game. I called that the redemption after what Christian Laettner did, knowing Kentucky should have won that game.
1999 Kentucky.
Kentucky Duke. Kentucky Duke in the
All right,
Elite Eight.
all right. I got it.
Yeah.
Years
And
years
that
later. Years later.
Yeah,
Okay.
yes.
All right.
And
I got it.
they
All right.
and that was
I
Elton Brand's freshman year. William Avery, and I think they had I believe there was not Carrawell, but it was another good player that played in the NBA for Duke. I mean, that was probably his most athletic squad I've ever seen from Duke. And then all of a sudden, when they went against Kentucky, interesting matchup, and they had an 18-point lead on Kentucky, and they came all the way back and they beat
I'm looking at it right now. All right. So this the 1 year Corey Maggette played.
That's it. That's that team.
All right.
That's it.
Okay. All right.
That team right there.
I'm still gonna say they're not the most athletic team, but this team here, this was a good team because you got Trajan Langdon, you got Shane Battier, you got Elton Brand, Corey Maggette off the bench was doing his thing. And most people said that was the best player on the team coming off the bench. You got William Avery and Nate James. Yes. I'm still going to say not the most athletic, but it's up there. It's up there. I think that Cam Reddish, Zion Williamson, RJ Barrett, that was his most athletic team that lost in the Elite Eight to Coach Izzo in Michigan State.
Yeah. But then that same other team, they not too many people. They lost. Remember the next year, and that's a better team than that team you're mentioning because they went to the national championship the next year, but lost to UConn.
That's right.
Lost to
That's
UConn.
right.
Khalid Alameen and Trajan Langdon didn't
Yeah.
do. He didn't do too. He did okay, but he didn't do too much. Ricky Moore had him on lock.
Yeah,
On lock.
that UConn team, that was a good, deep UConn team. One of the
I said it. Some
better
people thought it
ones.
was. Yeah, some people thought it was crazy. I said UConn. I said who gonna be do? I said UConn. I said UConn, bro.
All right.
UConn got a matchup.
We're gonna answer one more question and we'll get out of here.
Yes, sir.
Devin asks, who's on the Michigan State Mount Rushmore of basketball?
Dang, that's a good question.
Look, I got two for you. Magic Johnson for sure. Martine Cleaves. That's those two for sure. Anybody else? Man, Draymond was good, but I don't know about Draymond.
I,
Sheldon Brown was good. I don't know about Sheldon Brown.
I'm gonna say
Man,
I know a couple of them a
go
little
ahead.
bit. Definitely Magic and Mateen off the
Please.
top. Peterson, Morris Peterson,
Mo Pete.
Mo Pete. Also you got to put Charlie Bell up there. Charlie Bell did a hell of a job after them guys left, and he still carried them to the tournament.
Uh-huh.
So Charlie Bell up there.
Yep.
Sean Respert. Sean Respert really was a hell of a player at Michigan, getting them to a couple of postseason berths and everything. So Sean Respert and I'm gonna go one more because I'm gonna go on out on them on this one. Jason Richardson.
Jason
Jason Richardson.
Richardson, huh?
He carried Michigan State by himself to the Final Four.
Uh-huh.
Jason Richardson.
Okay. All right. I hear you, man. I hear you. As I'm looking at this list for greatest Michigan State basketball players ever, Jason Richardson is not on this list.
Kind of surprised.
Yeah. But there is one that we did forget. And
Uh-oh.
shame on me. Steve Smith.
Oh yeah, shame on us. You're right. You're right. Shame on us. Steve Smith.
Steve Smith.
He was a beast. He was. Sure was.
Yeah, Steve Smith. They got Denzel Valentine on this list. He was a good player. But
He was really good. He was
yeah.
really good. I'm gonna definitely
Pro
say that.
wise.
You just wish he would have. But I tell you one thing, his brother is doing a great job here coaching at Illinois Chicago at Loyola Chicago,
Yes, he
picking
is.
up that program. He's done an unbelievable job, and I think he's coaching. I think Denzel Valentine's coaching now somewhere. So he's trying to get into the coaching game more than anything else than a player. So it's a good route on him. You know,
Oh yeah.
they're probably gonna put Draymond in there a little bit because of the fact of the NBA career he has had, and then when it went
You
beyond that,
can't you
people
can't
thought,
go by NBA career. You gotta go by the college career.
well, college career, yeah. But I'm talking about how he represented the album because a lot of times when they go with the great players, it's not for one they do go with what they did in college, but then for two they do um give them some props to people who have made it outside of college that they really represented their school well.
All
So
right.
that's why we'll put Draymond probably up there too.
All
Because
right.
nobody thought Draymond was gonna be where he was gonna be.
I'm gonna go by. I'm gonna read what Bleacher Report has as their top 10. They have 50, but I'm gonna read the 10. Number
Okay.
1, Magic Johnson. Number 2, Mateen Cleaves. Number 3, Scott Skiles. 27.4 points a game as a senior.
Give us guys, guys.
Scott Skiles. I didn't know he went there. Okay.
What they say, the gritty Scotty Skiles.
Number 4, Greg Kelser from 75 to 79. Number 5, Sean Respert. He played in the backcourt with Eric Snow.
Sure did. There it is.
Sean Respert.
See, I watched. I'm 45, bro. I started watching sports when I was a teenager, bro. It comes popping in.
Number 6, Draymond Green, 16.2 points a game, 10.6 rebounds a game.
And then
All American.
before you move on, the thing about him, remember, he was a big guy when he came there. Remember, senior year, he lost a lot of weight.
Sure did.
So
Sure
that
did.
said something, and that's why he in the league now and going beyond that. So that's why another reason why he would be right there in the top, maybe 10 of Michigan State players.
Number 7, Mike Robinson from 71 to 74. Johnny Green from 56 to 59. Steve Smith, 87 to 91. And number 10, a guy by the name of Horace Walker, 57 to 60. All right. Cool deal. VK, any news about any guests tomorrow?
Well, let me check. Mr. Jones's email right fast, just in case if I get anything back.
It's a very busy email,
Yes,
ladies and gentlemen.
yes, very, very busy email. I've been trying to get these guests since Saturday, because we wanted to really give a big time tribute to these teams and give them some plug here on the show. and everything else. I have not gotten any emails back from the
Yet,
two schools yet. Hopefully, we can hear something from them. Hopefully by tomorrow or something. If not, we'll still have our show. We'll still do our
we might.
thing.
We might have our show. We might not. We'll see. We'll see.
But we still got sports subjects to talk about anyway.
Of
Because
course we do.
I know this was a lot of college baseball tonight, which we really tackled into more than anything else. But I know tomorrow we got to talk NBA. We got to talk some other media stuff going on. You
Like
know what I'm
what?
saying? Because
What else going on? What other media stuff?
you know, if the Dallas if Dallas ends this series tonight, do you know this is going to be the final night of the NBA on TNT?
No, it's not. See, that's where you're wrong.
Nah, it's confirmed. NBC has signed the deal. They are there. This is the
How
last.
much? How much you want to bet on it? And
I
I'll
mean,
pull it up right here. That Inside the NBA will be back next year for its final year on TNT.
when did that pop up and happen? Because all I know they've been no. I'm asking because our other co-hosts and I've been looking at a lot of sources and everything else. They kept, and I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm saying I looked at a lot of sources, looked at a lot of news clippings, podcasts, and then some, and they kept talking about NBC getting this new deal and everything else to take over the NBA coverage and talking about possible streaming things or whatever next year. So they was talking about this might be probably the last time the inside the NBA is going to be in existence or whatever. But that I'm hearing it
Are
from
you?
multiple sources,
Are you
and then
betting money or not, man?
I'm
Are you
not
betting
bet
money?
I'm
Are you
not
betting?
losing no
Are you
money.
betting? Are you betting another drink or not, man?
I'm not betting no drink. I'm struggling, so I'm good. You probably know something more than I don't know.
I've known since this all this came about with the new TV deals and TNT not wanting to pay that money. They came out and said the last season is next season.
Okay,
I've been I've
I
been
thought
through
it was
this, and there it is.
set. Oh, at the end of the 24, 25. Okay. Then I thought it was
Coach Trey. I tried to tell him, man. I tried to tell him, Coach Trey. He trying to tell me, Coach Trey. I tried to tell him.
no. I was trying to make sure, my friend, because
No, no, yeah, hey, what you
no,
said?
look. I was trying to make sure.
Hey, what you
Look,
said?
look. Like I told you, I'm not always right. I didn't say I didn't believe you. I just wanted you to. You might know something more than I do. That's what I'm trying to say. That's when Trust me. If I'm man enough to say I'm wrong. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong like two left shoes. But at the same time, like I said, I wanted to find out more from you because you probably know something more than I know.
We got one year left inside the NBA. There
One
you
more
go.
year.
One more year
So
left. So enjoy it.
yeah,
Enjoy it while you can.
but at the same time, that's gonna be tragic when that leaves off. It really is because you have to think NBC has really just just killed a lot of these products, man.
What you mean? NBC kill? How you say that?
Bruh. Nobody watch. Let me tell you something. Everybody, look, football night in America is not close to what ESPN NFL prime time is. It's not close. You know what I'm saying? For what they're
It's
going
not
to
close.
do, it's
How is
not
that
the
close?
the product is look. The product is the product, and to me, dude, come on, man. You listen to Chris Berman and everybody else every Sunday. That was thrilling. Everybody used to watch that. What we watching on Sunday night? Just boring stuff, man. They like
Boring.
it's not exciting, man.
What?
Really not. It's
Dude, they've
NBC.
got better
In,
freaking matchups than
man,
Monday Night Football.
man,
What are you talking about?
they probably do, but you look at the Super Bowl coverage is horrible. Horrible. I'm telling you, man. Look, I love when CBS and when Fox do their coverage of Super Bowl. It's really, really what the thing that stands out to me. The thing that stands out to me is this: when they introduce the teams, you know what Fox and CBS do that NBC don't? They do these great film vignettes, of these of actors, everything else, and it gets the teams talk about the team and all that stuff, and all of a sudden, boom, the team comes out after that. I love theatrics like that. NBC don't do that. They don't hardly do theatrics. Not like talking about it. Now I ain't gonna lie. Now the interviews, I ain't gonna lie, they good. I'm gonna give NBC credit on that. They do a good job on interviews. They really do. Everything else is like, oh Lord. Now I ain't gonna lie. I love to look at Maria Taylor. Don't get me wrong. Now Maria Taylor, yeah, she's about to be a mom. She's probably a mom now.
She is a mom.
She's a mom now.
Yeah.
Congratulations. But sometimes it be like it's not the exciting stuff, man. We used to the great stuff. I know things are meant to come to an end, but I ain't gonna lie, I'm gonna miss the hell out of inside the NBA if that's over with. Because Charles Barkley's commentary is something
changed
else.
the show. He saved the show, really.
He did. He basically
saved that show.
He carried the show for a long, long time. You know what I'm saying? And
Right.
Kenny's great. And then you add Shaq. It's like,
yeah, Kenny's great. Shaq is great. But you're talking bad about NBC, man. You're talking bad about NBC. I'm sorry. I gotta do this. I gotta do this to you.
But do you think they're gonna bring that theme back? Remember, Fox has the theme now. Remember that. Fox has that theme for college basketball. Is NBC gonna buy that back? That's the thing.
Oh, no wonder. It's in my earphone. Anyway, it's in my earphone. Like you can hear it to this day. It's in my earphone. Sorry, fellas. Sorry, everybody. That's fine.
Let me tell you something. Listen. It is a great theme song.
It's the greatest theme song ever.
But guess what? Fox took it and they use it for college basketball. If you're NBC, forget Rolling Rock, create a new theme. I'm sorry, you cannot bring something that's already kind of diluted. You can't do that. It's almost like with rap. If you're gonna recreate a beat, you better make it something kind of unique that it don't sound like the old thing. That's all it is. It's diluted now. If Fox wouldn't have took it, I'd have been like, great. Rolling Rock back on NBC, but Fox has took it.
We got a year left for Inside the NBA. We're gonna leave it at that. We'll talk about that next year. But anyway, we hope to see y'all here tomorrow. Talk about some more sports. Hopefully, we have Coach Pierre from Grambling State on to join us. Talk about Grambling winning the SWAC conference tournament and them going to
College Station,
not Corpus Christi, College Station to play in the Texas A&M Regional. But that is it for tonight. Everybody that watches on Instagram, X, which is formerly known as Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook. We thank y'all so much. For my good friend VK Jones, I'm JB the Sports Guy. I got a test to go study for some more, so I can pass it for tomorrow. We'll see y'all. Thank you, sir. We'll see y'all right here on the Hash It Out Show.
Go Colonels.
Head coach of the Hahnville Tigers boys basketball team, and you are watching the Hash It Out Show.
You're watching the Hash It Out Show!
Thank you for watching the Hash It Out Show. Please like, subscribe.